Are we here? Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Fan-Tastic Fridays. I'm Nick the Forge Bear. Hey, DJ, how's it going? Amanda getting Joe. So good of you to come. I was going to do it outside, but unfortunately, the municipalities of the area have decided that they're taking down a series of trees, and you can hear the hum in the background. You might also see a hello, darling, how are you? So you may see that there's a dog, a cat. There might be a couple of animal guests that pop their heads in and out of the room. Thank you. Yeah, it's this guy. Oof. Sons of Anarchy first season. I picked this up, and it has made it ever since. God, when did that show come out? At this point, it feels like 1,000 years ago. It was before the COVID, before the dark times. So yeah, if fur babies pop in, just heads up, they might end up popping in and out of frame, just so you know. Or, lazily walking through, as she has a tendency to do. I am 2008. Has it really been? Oh my God, it's been 14 years since that show was on the air. 14 years since it premiered. It ended in 2014. Anybody else feel? Oh, thank you for the heart. As always, we are going to... I appreciate the little gifts whenever you feel like throwing them in my direction. 3,000 and late. Yeah, sometimes it feels like I'm 3,000, especially when it comes to like talking about... what was it? The conversation yesterday leaned towards the Lord of the Rings movies, and I didn't even want to think about when those came out. So this is going to be one of the new days for a show that we're going to do, and we're going to be able to keep up and touch base with everybody, talk about some of the more lighthearted stuff, geeky stuff that's coming out, whether or not you have any questions about, comic books, movies, or video games, or anything like that. We can do that on here, as opposed to doing it on Werewolf Wednesday, which has a tendency to get a little more serious. Actually, and what we're looking at too is that now that TikTok has the subscriber model in place, we're thinking about Werewolf Wednesday becoming a subscription perk in and of itself. But we'll see if that works out. Sounds frisky. Hello, Miss Cat. Kat, I left you an Insta message to touch base with you because I was like, for the first week, we're going to see what we do. And then next week we might start doing guest spots. I know Cujo plays games. I was also thinking about maybe seeing if you wanted to pop on in weeks to come to talk about tabletop gaming and other stuff, because and I'm giving everybody a week. You have a week until I start talking about Rings of Power and C and She-Hulk, because we got stuff to talk about. Today is Halloween Ends Day. Oh yes, that is true. Halloween Ends came out today too. Vince the Vampire. I actually I have a TikTok video with a sound clip from Bram Stoker's Dracula, the Gary Oldman, Keanu Reeves jam back in the day. Hey, Finding Halcyon, how's it going? Seeing the She-Hulk Funkos. Have they released the She-Hulk Funkos? The ones for the show? Seriously? Because I'm going to end up throwing money at them. I'm going to have to. Thank you for the rose, Minnie. That's great. I have the older She-Hulk Funko. Oh, man. We might get a little bit later. We might have to get in the spoiler territory with it when it comes to that stuff. because whew, that last episode was precisely what I expected them to do with the show. Like, and then, but it had some very interesting callbacks in it. It had also some Funko knows how to feed the addiction. Well, my problem is, I don't know if you saw my video, Tattooed Soccer Mom, but I had actually said that, like, after 2 weeks ago, I needed 2 Funko Pops from that show, because I collect Daredevil Funko Pops, because he's my character. I'd collect Hellboy ones, but they've come and gone so quickly. It's weird. They've made them in such small batches, and I can't get my hands on them. Well, thank you for watching that unboxing on the YouTube. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I have a lot of fun with unboxings. Oh my god, every day is Christmas when I do an unboxing video. It's just so much fun. So many geeky possibilities. And I don't know if you've seen it yet, but what we're going to be doing, the list of stuff that's going to come up next week, based on the unboxing alone, we're going to be having a knife sharpening tutorial on the YouTube channel, on the Patreon and YouTube. We're going to be having a couple of different meditations that are going to be videos as opposed to just audios. And the settings I've got for the videos are just fantastic. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how it goes. It's going to be a lot of fun. Ooh, Doctor. Oh. So they did the announcement for the last episode of her Doctor Who run, and the regeneration, was it Power of, is coming out so soon. Oh, thank you for saying that, Monica. This is still a little bit higher than I normally. I mean, my speaking voice is usually a little bit quieter, but let's see here. We're gonna do Doctor Who. I am using a laptop. This is thrilling television right here, is what you like to see. Jodie Whittaker. Yeah, they just announced, didn't they just announce her last special? Doctor Who's Jodie Whittaker still crying over emotional goodbye. Power of the Doctor's broadcast time confirmed. This was reported on 2 days ago. They're talking about it being the 23rd of October. Seriously? Because I haven't seen anything. 90-minute time slot. So they're projecting the episode to be 90 minutes in length. The synopsis is the 13th Doctor must fight on her very existence against her deadliest enemy, the Daleks, the Cybermen, and the arch nemesis, the Master. Wow. That is a whole lot of conflict sandwich right there. Who's attacking a seething bullet train on the edges of a distant galaxy? Why are seismologists going missing from the 21st century? Who is defacing some of history's most iconic paintings? Why is the Daleks trying to make contact with the Doctor? And just what hold does the mesmeric Rasputin have over Tsar Nicholas in 1916 Russia? It's official. If anybody had not been paying attention, we're going to... they announced the new Doctor a bit ago. And they made huge hay out of the 60th anniversary special that's coming up, because it seems like every Doctor since Eccleston on is coming back for a guest spot in the 60th anniversary special. So it's going to be a good old time. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, I mean, Rasputin. We've now, if anybody was holding their Doctor Who bingo cards, I don't know if we've checked the box on Rasputin yet, but I feel like Rasputin comes up in everything, which is so funny because I grew up with him being like such a central character when it comes to like stories that I used to hear, because there were a couple of the distant royal family that stuck around the parishes in the New York area and used to tell stories about Rasputin when they were kids, and it was something else. Yeah, Rasputin can't turn up anywhere. I personally, my favorite interpretation is the Hellboy one where he's just like, I'm gonna raise the devil, and then he gets eaten. And it's like, I'm gonna raise the devil. I made mistakes, and then he comes back up, just like to be a thorn in the side. I'm gonna raise Cthulhu. I don't know why I'm making Rasputin into a white Chris Rock in this, but it seems to work for him. I just saw the growl clip. Yeah, sorry about that. I'm making sure that everybody's awake, you know? Let's see if they actually have information on that. How to stream Doctor Who in the US. HBO Max. HBO Max has rights to it. Yeah. You can also, okay, so here's the deal. If you use a VPN, a virtual, if you use a VPN, I don't know if I can say that without getting in trouble, but anyway, if you use a VPN, you can actually use the BBC iPlayer, right? Because the BBC iPlayer has all of the seasons. But they also have the BBC iPlayer or BBC America apps, but you have to use the VPN in order to access it because you need to convince the computer that you're actually in Britain. We're dipping cars this morning. Ooh! Except I had to buy on Prime for the newest season. Yeah, you know what? That's actually how I did it too. Before I knew it. Nick, did you watch Firefly? Oh, you. Yeah, of course I did. Are you kidding? I keep hearing rumblings about the fact that Disney now owns Firefly, and it keeps coming back up in casual conversation. Like, Nathan Fillion cannot do an interview for his show, The Rookie. Every single season when they bring him back to do press, at least one person will ask him if he's got any updates on the Disney reboot of Firefly, and he always plays it aloof. Let's be fair. At this point, if you ask any actor or actress about doing something for Disney, they're going to tell you that they're not doing anything for Disney, and you just have to take them at their word. Because the NDA, as we saw, making a callback here, as we saw in the newest episode of She-Hulk, the NDA takes roughly 82 years to get through in order to read the whole damn thing. Disney just doesn't know. Also, everybody keep an eye out because Disney also just announced that because of the Comcast merger, that they're going to end up merging Hulu and Disney Plus in the very near future. They're going to be making it one platform, so keep an eye out because they will end up having, I would imagine, price changes when it comes to how that's going to work. Yeah. Yeah, it should be more convenient. I'm looking forward to the ability to have everything on one platform. I know that they had it hopefully they merged the two systems because I like the way the Disney's set up and the collection system and everything else. And the wish list is nice and so on and so forth. I like the way that there's more of a streaming, like there's a little bit more of a user interface, a smoothness to the user interface when it comes to Hulu. So hopefully they have a real good sit down and kind of figure it out. Yeah, well, I mean, of course they had to cut ties with Sony because now you've got a merger system where it's like you can keep working with Hulu, but you're going to end up having to pay a certain amount of dividends to Disney, and like Sony's willing to do that. Like, I don't know if anybody caught it this week, but the next Tom Holland Spider-Man was announced this week. That it's in pre-production. They've apparently got a script in place, and we're going to see how that goes. But they obviously, I love how they tell us about that, but they don't tell us about the process through which Sony and Disney are like agreeing that they're going to make X amount of movies. It's very interesting. Oh yes, no, the Discovery Plus HBO Max merger is in the works. They're trying to do it. They might still keep it two very different platforms, but I will say this: the HBO Max and Discovery Plus merger cost nerds across the board. I don't know if everybody heard about that. Yes, Disney does own the rights to X-Men now. Actually, Kat, again, spoilers, but it did get mentioned in the latest episode of She-Hulk. Anyways, the Spider-Man thing's been a mess ever since they sold the rights to Sony. Now, here's the thing, right? The Sony Paramount thing with the Spider-Man rights, it was what got us the first Iron Man movie, right? Because they were able to take the money from the sale of the rights to Spider-Man and turn it into their ability to start developing the movies that they wanted to develop. No, Comcast had another merger. So in retaliation to the Comcast merger, Disney has decided that they're going to build Hulu and Disney into one platform. Yeah, definitely binge She-Hulk, Cat, because next week we're going to be talking about it. We're going to talk about it in a big bad way. Also, Rings of Power, because I saw that this morning and was like, oh, I can't not. For anybody who doesn't know this, here's a good little attention grabber. If anybody else is watching House of Dragons, see the Apple Plus, the Apple TV show starring Jason Momoa and Rings of Power. Keep in mind that I have a tendency to do a lot of background information when it comes to those shows, and I like production as much as I like the actual shows, because I like how people tell the stories as well as the stories that are being told. And C and Rings of Power do not use a digital background. All of their stuff is built. New Zealand, at this point, they might as well just turn all of New Zealand into Lord of the Ringsville, because New Zealand is just covered in like elf construction and dwarf tunnels and everything at this point. But it was all practical builds. Like, except for the far, far flung imagery, like, all of it was practical builds, and then they used digital insert at the distance. A technology that's been utilized since the first season of Mandalorian is a giant wraparound LED screen. You can basically build a surround green screen that interacts with the actors as they're going. So anytime you see Mando in the desert, it's because he's walking on a sand pad, which is roughly 100 yards in length, but there's also a giant wraparound LED screen which is showing him everything that you're seeing, so it no longer has that disconnect. They can actually see things that are happening around them in the background because of those screens. Pedro Pascal has commented that it's a little disorienting, but it's not too bad. The actors and actresses on House of Dragon, however, have said it's been really difficult because, one, they only build them like this much space in order to act on, and two, they will pan the scene on the screen while they're panning the camera in order to get the shots they made, and it's been notoriously giving the actors and actresses seasickness. So, not good. C is all done practically. C has been done practically. Rings of Power has been done practically, but House of Dragon, anything other than props and surfaces that the actors and actresses are interacting with, is not practical. It's all been digitally produced on a giant, basically a giant television screen that's a dome in shape. So, yeah, big AR screens are really changing the way actors have to work. Again, I know, Allison, and it's so funny because, like, when the prequel trilogy of Star Wars came out, you had a lot of actors being like, well, I'm spending a lot of time interacting with a green floor and a giant green screen, and I'll pick up the cup and the cup is green because they're just going to digitally insert all that stuff again. And then the Lord of the Rings movies came out, and the Lord of the Rings movies were like, oh, we can do it all. We're going to do it all practically. And you could tell there was love to it. You know, there was design and it was gorgeous. And then with Hobbit, they kind of did a half and half, which is what had Ian McKellen, like, the story of the first week, Ian McKellen being on set the first week of the Hobbit trilogy. He cried because he was like, I never intended to act like this because it was so green screen, and Peter Jackson actually like started adding more practical items into it because he was like, no, the actors need to be able to interact with one another. And Ian McKellen was talking to a green ball on a stick, and that was supposed to be Bilbo. And then they inserted Martin Freeman into it after the fact. And I was like, but you were able to do all of it practically in the first movie, and it looks so good. So, yeah. Practicals are more interesting to watch. As a person who's into production as much as I am anything else, practicals are always going to have way more of a feel to them. I understand the use of CG and the fact that it allows for things that you can't have Dragonstone in House of Dragons without CG, because there's no way that you're going to be able to practically build 9 80-foot dragons, right? I have seen the animated Lord of the Rings movies. I remember them fondly. And it's interesting you should bring that up, because a friend of mine from online actually did a documentary about the Lord of the Rings, the animated Lord of the Rings movies. And I was like, oh, that is very interesting that you would pick that up. But they were, oh man, some of that stuff. And that, we call that touch the puppets effect, taken from the old Farscape. Oh, Farscape. Ooh. So here's the thing. I have to wonder. So Farscape, that's a little bit of a callback. Anybody old enough to remember Farscape? Because I loved the crap out of that show. That was formative years too. So like, Claudia Black, Aaron's son, was just like, oh, really? Oh, cool. Amy, that sounds like it's going to be a ton of fun. Do me a favor and link me in it. I'll pop over and check it out while you're doing it. That'd be great. Farscape was amazing. I have to wonder, caused a bunch of health problems for the principals. I believe it did, because the way that they were filming and the location and the sound studios that they were working on, they were working at such a steep budget because Sci-Fi didn't have the money for it. Oh, well, of course, you go all the way back to Buck Rogers. I mean, I remember, was it Buck Rogers of the 25th century? Like, when the original Battlestar Galactica came out? Like, I remember the original Battlestar Galactica. Like, there's another show that, like, did not... Oh. Like, well, it was all kind of experimental at that level, right, Alan? They had a lot of the practical stuff, and they had a lot of the makeup, and they were cutting corners where they could because Sci-Fi didn't have the budget for it. And then they cut, Space 1999, Sonia, or if we're gonna do callbacks to old shows, Space Above and Beyond, loved that show. Oh my god, like so many good shows, That is true. Well, we were talking about that chaotic owl because again, there are some stuff that you can do practically, and there's some stuff that you can't do practically. Babylon 5, Allison, you're ticking all the boxes. Um the episode I just caught up on Star Trek Lower Decks, which I've been having a lot of fun with because as you guys know, I have a tendency to poke fun at even the most serious of content. Star Trek Lower Decks, I caught up last week, and the Deep Space Nine episode had me in stitches. Lost in Space. Oh man, Lost in. Did you see the Netflix remake of Lost in Space, Amanda? Because I'll tell you what, it was good television, and it caught me off guard, and I feel like it didn't get the press that it deserved because it was kind of buried in their lineup. Netflix was doing a lot of stuff at the same time, and their remake of Lost in Space was fantastic. So I'm completely. Oh yeah, no, the Lost in Space that came out for Netflix was a solid series, and they actually finished it. It wasn't the kind of thing that they ran on forever. Picard season 3 trailer. Oh, Picard season 3 trailer. You mean Picard the final season? Yeah, Brent Spiner, man. Listen, I've been enjoying the nostalgia monster that is the Picard seasons, but like they need to. I remember Sliders. Are you kidding? Yes, I do watch Doctor Who. You missed it. We were talking about Katrina. We were talking about the fact that the Jodie Whittaker's last episode of Doctor Who is slated to be 90 minutes long, and it's coming out on the 23rd of October. Yeah, Logan's Run freaked a lot of people out. But Logan's Run was one of those things where like that was during the times where you had stuff like Fahrenheit 451 coming out, and you had Soylent Green was coming out, and you had all of those things that were like very edgy. Like Planet of the Apes started a very almost poetic turn for sci-fi, and you had a lot of very edgy sci-fi back then. It wasn't all like, oh, we've got grand ideas. Sliders was a fantastic show. I love that. Yeah, I know. I feel like in a way they did Jodie Whittaker's Doctor dirty. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with her in the 60th anniversary, because her playing off of Tennant, or her playing off of Matt Smith, or her playing off of Chris Eccleston should be very interesting. Nobody said anything about who was it? Oh God, why am I'm losing names right now when it comes to doctors. Anyway. I could only hope they bring Missy back, because I love that one too. Hoping they do an Automan reboot. Automan! Wow! That is a callback. Well, no, they always tease that they're bringing back Baker. They always tease they're bringing back Baker. Here's one of my favorite. Disney's Black Hole. Do you know I had action figures of all of the robots from Black Hole? I loved that movie, even though it freaked me the hell out as a kid, because I was like, I had nightmares I was going to get trapped in robots. Buck Rogers, Black Hole, the original Black Hole. And that's another one that Disney Plus keeps teasing that they're going to turn into something. And they've been teasing that they're doing that. They keep teasing they're going to do more with Tron. And I'm like, Manimal, Dark Crystal be considered sci-fi. Dark Crystal would be considered sci-fi fantasy, and Dark Crystal would be considered an absolute legend. That series, movie and the series was fantastic, and I damn near cried / burned down the house when I found out that they were canceling that show. Hocus Pocus 2 was fun. It was never going to be anything other than fun, because like like Hocus Pocus, the original Hocus Pocus was goof. There it is. Pop back out for a second because I got a phone call. $6 million man. Somebody mentioned the $6 million man. Who was it? Kevin. You brought up the $6 million man. Do you remember when they rebooted that? With the is the $6 million, was it $6 million woman, or it was something, the Bionic Woman? They redid the Bionic Woman on NBC for like 2 seasons, right when the height of like when they were like, oh man, we're gonna be able to keep Thursdays as like nerdy action, and were doing Chuck, and they tried to do the Bionic Woman too. And it was, I remember it being produced by the same people who were doing Ron Moore, from Battlestar Galactica was doing the series at the time, and I was just like, ooh. It was Hocus Pocus 2 was more of a nostalgia trip than it was anything else. And it's setting it up for the third one, obviously. No spoilers, but yeah. It was, well, here's the thing though, Amanda. I feel you when it comes to Hocus Pocus 2 losing the magic Hocus Pocus 1 did. And here's why that bummed me out. Or didn't bum me out. You guys are gonna find that I have a nasty habit of being able to like look at IPs like that and just be like, oh well, this was just fun. And I'll also be like, I was a kid when this first came out. I can still appreciate it for what it was, because if this had come out like a year after the first one came out, I would have enjoyed it way more. But unfortunately, and now the third one, they're gonna make a third one, and it's gonna be, skewed towards the next generation, right? Because that's what they're doing. They're passing the torches, so to speak. I don't know if that's the kind of thing you want to talk about when it's witches passing the torches. Or maybe it's passing the black flame candle. Can we locate that many virgins? Oh my God. You do have to appreciate that about Hocus Pocus 2. You do have to appreciate that about Hocus Pocus 2. Yeah, you know what though? Adrienne, what was funny about that? What's funny about the whole let's not make villains the villains thing was like, that was, they skewed so hard into that after their merger with Pixar. And I'm like, you gotta have some good villains though. Like, everybody, like, do you know how much we love our good villains? Like Loki, man. Like, we've loved Loki so much in the Marvel cinematic universe that he got his own damn show. Like, so yeah, trying to skew all this stuff so that there's not really a villain. I need good villain arcs. I'm looking forward to seeing, who is it? Is it Jonathan Powers as Kang the Conqueror in the upcoming Marvel movies? They released that picture this week and everybody lost their minds. Yep, it's Jonathan Majors. I'm sorry if I screwed up his last name before. But yeah, you know what? And the second they announced him, I was psyched because I loved Lovecraft Country on HBO. That was a fantastic show. If anybody did not watch Lovecraft Country on HBO, check it out, because it was a fantastic show. I loved that show. It was really well done, and it was just a great anthology. Oh, you're getting Agatha. No worries. She's getting her own series. Well, that's it. Like, you... And here's the other thing, right? So you've got Marvel, who's building the Thunderbolts. By the way, I do not for a second believe that the Thunderbolts lineup that they revealed is the actual full Thunderbolts lineup. Like, there's no way. There's no way. Oh, Tattooed. I loved. If anybody didn't see Werewolf at Night on Disney Plus, check it out because it is the best Universal monster movie that's been out since the Brendan Fraser Mummy movie. Like, it's got the feel of the classics. They made it as gory as possible by keeping it black and white, so it's very Kill Bill it has great use of shadow. Fantastic. And again, we've been talking about practical effects. That movie had fantastic practical effects. For anybody who does not know, this is me being the production nerd that I am. Man-Thing in Werewolf at Night was a practical effect. There were layovers. They had to do overlays in CG in order to connect the joints. But for the most part, Man-Thing in that show, in that movie, whatever you want to call it, in that Halloween special, was practical. And adorable. He was practical and adorable. And practically adorable. He was. Oh my God. The second he came on screen, I was like, oh, they did it. Yeah. How can you not love Brendan Fraser? Doom Patrol's coming back. Have you guys seen Doom Patrol? The show with Brendan Fraser. It's one of the only DC series. Oh my God. It hurts so much. It's one of the only DC series that survived the Discovery Plus merger. And the new season's coming out. I got the announcement for the new season of His Dark Materials on HBO. Another fantastic series based on the book series. I'm just going to keep throwing shows at you guys. Haven't watched Doom Patrol yet. It is, Adrian, let me give you an angle here, okay? Here's the selling point. In the first season, one of the first things that they have to deal with, the team has to deal with, even though they're not a team, they keep insisting they're not a team because none of them can coordinate to save their damn lives. One of the things that they have to deal with is the fact that a town gets swallowed by a goat. An actual goat. So it is that level of weird, but it's a ton of fun and it's got heart to it. Just don't watch it with the kids. But Brendan Fraser's back in it, and honestly, that was kind of like the beginning of his renaissance, and it was great. Love Doom Patrol. Why are you tunneling into my childhood memories? Listen, I am a story love-struck nerd. And I know that doesn't come across much when it comes to Werewolf Wednesday because we do poetry, we do calm, and we get all the growling and everything in there. But I got a photo up with Brendan and the lady who plays Rita. Michelle, would you stop being the coolest person I know, please? The new Interview with the Vampire series. Yes, that's a good one to bring up, Kat, because again, that is a series that is doing it right. And I want to live on Danny the Street. Alice and Danny the Street does look like it's a ton of fun. And the time travel, you live on a street, you have a house on the street, and also you get to time travel. So that's pretty convenient. Yeah. You know what I love? I love the fact that they've been able to express Louis and Lestat's relationship. The chemistry between them is perfect. Had a photo op with the team from The Boys last year too. Ooh, The Boys. Wheel of Time in Season 2 is almost here. Wheel of Time Season 2 is almost here. Aren't you the guy who growls? Yes, I'm the guy who growls. But on Fridays, I'm the guy who does nerdy content. And soon we'll be doing cooking content. And soon we'll be doing lumberjack content. And soon we'll be doing knife sharpening tutorials and all sorts of interesting stuff. Trust me, I diversify. I want to make sure that I keep everybody on their toes. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. This is Alan. This is going to become a thing. Again, Alan, if oh wait. Yeah, this is gonna become a thing, my friend. We're gonna. This is gonna be different topics on different weeks. We're always gonna give people, at least 7 days before we do heavy spoilers when it comes to series. How does Shadow and Bone on Netflix fit in here perfectly? I can't wait for season 2. They keep bringing up that they're making a season 2, and I'm also giving everybody 7 days to talk about Black Adam. We'll bring that up. We're going to bring up the season finale of Rings of Power, She-Hulk next week. So give everybody an opportunity, because I know not everybody has flexibility. I know they had released this teaser trailer, but did it have a date on it, Kat? That is the question. Yeah, well, I mean, school, right? You got to do the... Listen, we all understand having to do the responsible adult things. Sometimes it sucks, but you gotta do it. Shadow and Bone was great. And She-Hulk is awesome. Got tickets for Black Adam. Listen, Adrian, it's fun. Black Adam is fun. I will not... I'm you know my stance on DC. My stance on DC is I'm always going to be an MCU guy, because the MCU characters I've always been able to relate to more, except for a select few. But like Black Adam was a lot of fun, and it really starts to there. Hopefully the studio utilizes Black Adam and Shazam, Power of the Gods, I think is the subtitle of the new movie that's coming out. But hopefully they use Black Adam and Shazam, Power of the Gods to start the ball rolling. Ben Barnes. Listen, Ben Barnes is adorable, but Charlie Cox is where it's at for me. No, Ben Barnes was awesome. Ben Barnes was also... Oh, I hated his freaking guts in the first season of Westworld until they took the character turn. Yeah, see, Netflix... Oh, another thing, since we're talking about Netflix, please be advised that Netflix has announced that it's going to have a Netflix with advertisement option for $6.99, but it's also going to limit you to 2 screens. So keep that, please be advised. I don't know if everybody heard that, but I want to make sure that everybody's aware of these things. Like I said, bringing up the media, guys. This is what I'm going to be doing on Fridays. This is what where this spot's going to be at. We're going to be doing talks with friends. If anybody wants to do a guest spot, Michelle, Mishibu, I'm going to be duetting a video of yours tomorrow, so that's fun. Witcher Season 3 is set to come out summer of 2023. Listen, if he's not back in the bathtub, I riot. No, I love the fact that they've gotten such a good feel for it. The prequel series of Witcher is coming out the end of this year. Because they have a series that stars... Oh, my goodness. Michelle Yeoh. Is coming out on Netflix. Right? Blood Origin. Yeah. Blood Origin's coming out. It's a mini-series, but that's coming out. They've got an official release date of December 25th. Set 1,000 years before The Witcher. And actually tells the story of, stars Sophia Brown, Michelle Yeoh, who was fantastic in Everything Everywhere All at Once. I am up to date on Andor. Ooh, Michelle. Ooh, I'm gonna sit silent on that one until next week too. The Winchester's pilot was Tuesday, and it was pretty decent. I love the fact that they're being able to explore kind of these continuities that they've established. Yeah, the animated Witcher movie that they did for Netflix was really good too. It really filled in. It was perfectly timed too, because if you watched it between season 1 and season 2, it informed you of the characters you were going to meet, which was great. Gunpowder milkshake. Oh, man. Adulting time. Have a great day. Oh, you too. Yeah, Andor is getting really good. Very tense the last episode. I'm trying not to spoil it too much. No. Gunpowder milkshake. Gunpowder milkshake I thought was fun. Also, who doesn't love the idea of a library where everybody's heavily armed? Wink to everybody who's part of the Patreon. Like Gunpowder Milkshake, and the Princess. Was it the Princess on Hulu? Gunpowder Milkshake and the Princess on Hulu were great examples of goofy, dumb action films, but finally goofy, dumb action films with the budget and female leads. You know what I mean? Like, if you had done Gunpowder Milkshake, if you had done Gunpowder Milkshake, or you had done The Princess, like back in the 80s, that was basically, it's just like, okay. The Princess was Mad Max in a castle with a female lead, right? Gunpowder Milkshake was basically like a cheap version of John Wick with a female lead, Karen Gillan. And I will never besmirch Karen Gillan because Amy Pond was amazing. So, surprise, nerd. Surprise, nerd. School of Good and Evil on Netflix. And I love the fact that Charlize Theron is starting to do more nerd stuff. I love the fact that she's in the Marvel Cinematic Universe now. I also love the fact that she had done her guest spot for The Boys after she had filmed it before filming for Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, and told Kevin Feige she was going to be in it, and that her character in The Boys was also purple, had purple costumed, and Kevin Feige's like, oh, that's awesome. Like, she was good in the Orville too. Like, but like that was because she loved Seth MacFarlane so much, and I can't really begrudge her that, because the Orville is a fantastic series. It's the best Star Trek that isn't Star Trek. You know what I mean? Bryce Dallas Howard. I feel so like here listen, here's the thing. I think Black Knight, I think Moon Knight, I think Blade, I think Wanda possibly. I think they're setting themselves up for a Midnight Suns team. Kind of like the Dark Paranormal team in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I really do. I think they're establishing themselves so that they can do stuff like that. I think with conversations around who's going to possibly play Ghost Rider on the big screen, since like Keanu Reeves and a couple other people have been mentioned, I think that'd be interesting. I think another thing you could do is that, there's always going to be the space aspects of the MCU. There's always going to be the practical street level, characters. There's going to be the mutants who are going to start playing more of a cosmic power role, like a supernatural power role, and then you're going to have the supernatural dark team. And I think it's going to be interesting. I think the way they set up Kit Harington as Black Knight was interesting. I'm wondering if Paula, thank you for signing up, for subscribing. That's very sweet of you. I think what we're going to see, I think what's going to be very interesting is seeing how, whether or not he comes up in Eternals 2. Whether or not he peaks up in season 2 of Moon Knight. Because I can't help but point out that Oscar Isaac has already confirmed that they were started filming Moon Knight season 2, and I can't help but notice that Kit Harington was in Egypt around the same time that Oscar Isaac was in Egypt. So, what's the topic? Catch me up, Paula. We are deep diving into nerd, like everything nerd. Like nerd. We've talked about Doctor Who and the upcoming final special for Jodie, which is on October 23rd. We've been talking about Marvel. We've been talking about Farscape. We've been talking about Dark Crystal. We've been talking about series that are coming up. We're trying to stay away from spoilers, but I'm biting my tongue. Because between Andor this week, between She-Hulk this week, between C this week, between Rings of Power this week, even something as fun as Ghosts. I've been watching Ghosts on CBS. I think that series is a lot of fun. Every so often, it's a good palate cleanser. But, it's a good grand old time had by all. We were talking about good villains. Can we discuss Deadpool? Because Deadpool, Paula, honey, you were in the right place. Because I actually had a 20-minute conversation with my mother about Deadpool. Grandmama Forge Bear says, hi, everybody. And thanks you so much for the love. She's doing great. Just a heads up, a weird little side askew update. She's driving again. So Grandmama Forge Bear is good. It looks like she's only going to need, like, a couple of chemo treatments just to make sure that everything's safe. Oh, death. Yeah. Is our pirate queen being a clever girl? Did you used to watch iZombie? Yes, I watched iZombie. Oh my goodness. And what was the other one? Because we were talking about She-Hulk. Tatiana Maslany was in Black. What was the name of the show? I'm blanking. Orphan Black. Orphan Black? Yeah, iZombie was a ton of fun. The new Netflix Sabrina the Teenage Witch was a ton of fun. I didn't get into Riverdale. I really did not. Orphan Black, thank you. Thank you. I knew it would pop up eventually, and I'm looking at my Blu-ray DVD rack right now and going, what was the name of it? And it is sandwiched between the big box set of 10th Kingdom. There's a callback for a couple of people. It's sandwiched between the big box set of 10th Kingdom and the big box set of the Lord of the Rings extended editions. And it's like this slender little collection in the middle, and I can't read it. Caleb on Buffy was a good villain. You are correct. Confesses that she was a Gleek once upon a time. Once upon a time, huh? For anybody who liked 10th Kingdom, and is willing to read comic books, read Fables, which was a series by DC Comics of Vertigo imprint. It is about all of the... Well, I shouldn't just say 10th Kingdom. Anybody who liked 10th Kingdom or liked... I think it was Once Upon a Time was the series? I watched it. I picked up a couple of episodes every so often with Once Upon a Time. But anyway, if you loved either of those, read Fables, which was a comic book. It's a graphic novel series in the Vertigo imprint, which is about all of the characters from Fable stories living in one hotel. Did you watch Winchesters this week? Yeah, it's a good question. See, and we were talking about, that is Mando on my shirt. Mando and Grogu, and it says, "This is the way." You've been binge reading Fables, huh? Let me know how you like it at the end. Because I loved that series. I absolutely loved that series. Yes, The Wolf Among Us game was fantastic. And once upon a time, somebody asked me if they did an animated show or a live action show, what the character I would want to portray would be. And it would be Bigby from Fables. that would be my go-to. Like if I could snap the Infinity Gauntlet, that would be the part I'd want to play to introduce me. Ooh, yeah, the audio production of Sandman was phenomenal. Was phenomenal. I loved that series. Like I'll be honest with you. So everybody's at the gym, right? Listening to like heavy metal and stuff, like, and like every so often I'll listen to music, but I'm the guy on there listening to like episodes of listening to podcasts in the Sandman audio production or the Neverwhere audio production, which was also good. The Neverwhere audio production on Audible was fantastic. Do not skip that. Great cast. Easy to find on Audible. It's one credit. Hey, Red Nightmare, how's it going? So we're geeking it up, everybody. We are on hour 1 of a 2-hour geek blitz. We are just enjoying each other's company and talking about it. I listened to it on my 5 a.m. cardio throughout the neighborhood. Yeah, see, that's how I do it. You met Mason and Tom last weekend? Okay, I'm super jealous. I am super jealous right now. And I'm typing something in right now, and we're going to see whether or not I'm about to piss everybody off, so we will find out. Good God, guys. You guys are not... See, and here's what annoys me about this, is the fact that I am looking it up, right? I'm looking up Sandman Season 2, Netflix renewal status, and what we know so far. The last thing that they said... Yeah. Yep. Has not been decided whether or not they're renewing Season 2. It's currently the renewal prediction for Sandman Season 2 on Netflix is at 50-50. Well, Netflix, if you stop throwing so much money at the wall all the time. Has anyone seen Stargate? No. What is that? SG1 was like Home Away from Home and so much fun. Atlantis I was a little bit weak on, but I did follow through on that show. I probably enjoyed Stargate Infinity more than anybody else that I know. The one where they were trapped on the ship. I really loved that show. And, I don't know many people who enjoyed it. But Coronemic was classic. Parker Lewis Can't Lose. I mean, how could you not? Wow. That is dating myself a little bit there. But hopefully everybody got that reference. Yeah, SG1 was a comfort show because it was just fun. It was good fun. Atlantis had Jason Momoa. That was when he was still... he was Jason Mini Moa. Because he hadn't bulked up yet. Do you have any theories on what the Jon Snow show will be about? They have currently, HBO currently has four pilot episodes for 4 different Game of Thrones series that they have yet to greenlight. They have 4 different scripts that they are working with 4 different writer rooms. Luckily, they learned from, the last season of the original Game of Thrones series, and there will never ever do a 2-man writer room ever again. But Mishy, love it, Michelle. I think it's going to be about Jon Snow, the Jon Snow series. But will it be about Jon Snow? I really want them to do more of the supernatural. I'm hoping with House of Dragon. I'm hoping they will do more of the supernatural stuff, because the 3-eyed raven is actually supposed to be born during the Dance of Dragons, like during the war they're leading up to right now. And like the White Walker is supposed to be born like during the like there's a lot of the supernatural elements are supposed to come to rise during the long winter that's coming up around the Dance of Dragons. So hopefully they start playing with that stuff. I'm good on Game of Thrones stuff, as in you're all done with it, Red, or you're looking forward to more of it, or what does that entail? We're around the same date, Nick, I'm guessing. Yeah, one would imagine so. Like I can throw out some stuff. Who is this Jon Snow we talk about? I know him not. Parker Lewis Can't Lose was the absolute best. It was. I mean, like, for a show that was basically, let's see if we can do Ferris Bueller's Day Off as a series. Like, it was pretty solid television. It was a lot of fun. Again, back in the day. So this is what, I hope you guys are cool with it, but this is what my Fridays are going to be like. Yeah. Well, yeah. Season 8 of Game of Thrones ruined it for a lot of people. A lot of people. And Amy, I'm going to be honest with you. I am still, the only reason I'm paying attention to House of Dragons at this point is to see whether or not they actually do something with it. So yeah, this is basically going to be it. You, me, and a laptop talking about nerdy stuff. That is Fan-Tastic Fridays. That is what the show's going to be about. So hopefully you're down for it. I'm still debating whether or not I'm going to actually do a Monday morning show, but we'll see. Because I like to keep the shows about an hour and a half to 2 hour episodes. I'm talking about them like it's streams. I like to keep them to an hour and a half to 2 hours. Actually, I should call them episodes because Lord knows I upload all of them onto YouTube, so if anybody misses them, they can watch them. Which is an exclusive benefit for anybody who's a member of the Patreon. Can I say that in the stream? Sure I could. Dragon took... Listen, Cat. You know there's an outtake where like Drogon gets to like 30,000 feet and just goes nom 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 gulp. It's kind of like having the world's largest cat. You know, giant flying cats. It's like nobody's gonna miss mommy's body. Nom 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 nom. Oh, man. You know what's funny, Kat? You know what we did not talk about on Wednesday? And I don't know. I'll have to ask Alan at some point. But we were talking about... I wrote... After seeing The Last Jedi, I actually went home and spent 3 days writing my own version of Episode 9. It was nice. Yeah, it was a pleasure talking to you, Amy. Have a grand old weekend, and I look forward to hearing about your stream of the Hobbit cartoons. I'll pop in if I have a chance. Okay. Finding Alcyon's like, what happened? We're talking about Jon Snow. He knows nothing. But then again, we know nothing about the show that apparently is supposed to be about him. The alt script for season 9? Alt script for episode 9 or season 9 of Game of Thrones? Because the way that I rewrote the last season of Game of Thrones was actually turned it into 2 seasons. Oh, honey, everybody likes looking at him. He might not know stuff, but he does look like he knows stuff. You know what I'm saying? I will. I've got to dig it up, Kat. I don't even remember where I put it. Like it's a physically printed out copy because it didn't actually. I didn't actually have like. We're talking about something. When did like yeah? I didn't actually have it saved. I physically printed it out because it was something I was tooling around with, sitting at my desk at work when I was waiting for parts to finish up heating enough that I could actually like make adjustments to them. So I'm sitting between two 2300 degree ovens at my little desk and my little computer, which, you know, I had to have a independent air conditioning unit attached to the back of it so it didn't fry out every 15 minutes. And well, he's had to, but you know, it's not quantity sometimes. Sometimes it's quality, Florence. Sometimes it is quality. I mean, he kept a queen occupied. Well, good, Paul, because this is going to become the norm. Oh, look at my little crown. It's so adorable. Should I be doing, we're going to have to talk about whether or not I have to do, thank you, beautiful creature. We're going to have to talk about whether or not I'm going to do for the gifts, what I do on Werewolf Wednesday nights, or we'll have to come up with something else for Fridays. We'll see. He knows what he's doing. We could, that is a whole conversation in and of itself. Oh, that's all right, Paula. Feel free to stop in next time. See you on the Discord. That nightmare has given me a vampire bath. Oh, listen to the children of the night. What beautiful music they make. I saw new ones for Fridays. Yep, we're going to keep Werewolf Wednesdays and we're doing Fan-Tastic Fridays where we're talking about all the geeky stuff, and I will give you guys 7 days. 7 days to catch up on properties before I bring up stuff, because I don't think everybody's seen She-Hulk yet, and I'm pretty sure nobody else has seen Rings of Power. Like, I would imagine some of you have seen this week's episode of Rings of Power. I was on the edge of the bed the entire time going, but yeah, anyway. And then the newest episode of Andor and stuff like that. So, yeah, give you guys enough time to catch up on everything. Oh, I'm glad, Red. Yeah, Michelle, I expect to hear what you think. Grand old time. So, yeah. And then we're going to be doing some... See, here's the thing. Making sure that I'm touching all the bases, all of the interests. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Oh, wasn't it excellent? Tiny Halcyon's like, I've seen them both. We can talk about them. Do you want to talk about them? We need to talk about them. Do we need to talk about them? Listen, Rings of Power, you have to give them a lot of credit because they're making some very compelling television for the fact that they own a space in Middle Earth history, which is not really that well detailed. Like, it is a space in between where a lot of things are being led up to. But I'm going to be honest with you. There have been some jaw-dropping scenes in the show so far. And the set pieces are gorgeous. And I just want to watch Elrond and Durin just pal around for hours on end. Like, it is the sweetest bro show ever. Florence, I'm going to be honest with you, and I'm sure a lot of people will comment their opinions, but I had a ton of fun with She-Hulk. It is not what you expect it to be. It is very much aware of itself. It is very smart. It is very funny, and it's a sitcom. It is literally it is a legal sitcom about a. What was the name of that show with Mary Tyler Moore? If it was the Mary Tyler Moore show, I'm gonna be pissed off. We're in the credits in the credit sequence, in the title sequence, she threw her hat up in the air. Was it the Mary Tyler Moore show? I don't remember, but it very much feels like that girl in the big city just making her way, you know. And it was so much fun. Yeah, yeah. It had that title sequence for me. Like I don't know why my brain pulled that, but it very much had that feeling to it where it's just like it's very much focused around Jen and what she's dealing with and the predicament that she's living with, and like it was oh, that who's that girl? It's Jess. Anyway, wow, now I made a new girl reference. So we're all over the place. We've gone from Doctor Who to the MCU to Ring of Power to yeah, this is pretty much going to be the Friday show where we trip the light fantastic with my ADHD brain when it comes to nerd properties. Stick around, it's going to be fun. Also, I'm just going to sit here on my hands slowly humming waiting for them to announce the entirety of the cast of Dune Part 2 because they have, as of this week, bumped up the release date. It's coming out earlier than it was supposed to come out. So, I only by a week, a couple weeks, but still. It's the Friday variety show. It's true. We'll endeavor to give it a go ASAP. Yeah, Florence, it's small enough and it's bite sized enough where it's just fun. It's just fun. And a lot of people have been like comparing it to other MCU properties, and honestly, at this point I don't know how you can because it's something completely different. Neurodivergent nerd brain here too. Yep, Florence, we are the patron saints of neurodivergency. We really are. I am truly a fan, but you, sir, cause trouble. However, do I cause trouble? Yeah, it is very episodic. I mean, there is a through line, but at the same time, they just have fun with it. You know. Sent me a request for what? What'd you send me a request for? How did I not see it? Michelle, what'd you send me a request for? I do declare. I am the chief chaos creator. That is true. Oh, well, shoo dang. Boop. Drop on in and say hi. There she is.
Miss America. I figured I'd pop in for a little bit. I'm actually packing. Technically, I'm supposed to be working, but
You're not working when you're supposed to be working, said the guy who's in shorts. Yeah, I don't know what that's like at all.
thank you. It's like my
So what?
Ahsoka shirt.
I know, right? You got the chibi Star Wars shirts on. We're rocking them completely.
Yes, but She Hulk. It was like I loved it. I loved how I'm not gonna like spoil it, but I'm gonna say this: the there was at one point I'm like, oh, don't make it so like typical Marvel show. And when it did what it did, I was like, okay, like that. That's cute. Kevin not being a real person, but okay, I get
You know what I love though? I love the fact that he wasn't a real person, but he still had his hat. He had his,
that.
he had his little hat brim sticking out there. I was like, oh, okay. They knew what they were doing. They knew
Yeah,
what they were doing.
and the Easter eggs that they were dropping, like, you know. And then the surprise when Bruce shows up at the
That
family thing.
that was huge. That was huge. And you're like, well, another thing is that Hulk out and outright reverts back into Marvel's control in November.
Yeah,
They have complete control of the rights because they weren't allowed to release a Hulk movie
Yep.
because they didn't have the rights to him, because that was another one that got sold off when Sony bought Spider-Man. They also sold off Hulk so that they could make the Ang Lee movie. So are we gonna get a full-length Hulk film?
I mean, the Easter egg implies, you know,
There's
you
a lot of
have to.
ways they can go, and they're slowly building out like the Hulk family. They're slowly adding characters on. So
Yep. And the fact that she's like, she's like, oh, everyone has father drama. Thor, father drama. Iron Man, father drama. And the fact that they kind of made fun of what's typically going now is the whole troll fandom thing.
oh my god, I loved the fact that they trolled the trolls. I
Yeah.
loved the fact that they trolled the trolls. I love the fact that they made that like an actual honest to god plot line. Like I know a couple of people. I don't know about you, but I sat there. I watched that episode and I went, I know a couple of people whose blood pressure just
Mhm.
went through the roof.
Yep. Getting called on their own BS.
I was like, how does it feel when a company
It was
as
good.
big as Disney just takes pot shots at you?
And definitely and I think that I feel like that they've made changes weekly to add elements to that trolling of the trolls thing because you know like people were complaining about the whole twerking in that one episode and ever since that episode usually they would have that cut scene at the end and ever since that twerk scene at the end of that episode you didn't see any more cut scenes but in the beginning of every episode since then they were showing that part of her twerking so I
They
feel
were.
a little bit of a little bit of a dig to the people to remind
Can I tell you how hard I laughed at that post credits though?
Yeah.
I was okay. I might have been a little thirsty, but at the same time, I was I was laughing. I'm like, I have to say too, the internet had a great deal of constraint because I did not see as many "Step on Me, Mommy" memes as I thought I was going to after the show premiered. So
Oh, did they post a little? Well, that's why I did. That's why when I went to Comic Con on Saturday, I dressed as She-Hulk, and I wanted to do some twerking with some other fans that were there. So I did a little montage of me twerking next to people.
by the way, you stepping on the subway and the foot kick, I was just like, oh, this is the best. Michelle's living her best life.
So
So
yeah,
good.
and then I made business cards. I made business cards, and it
I
said,
saw those.
"Yeah, yeah,
That was so cool. Oh, it's so much fun. They're just, and that's another thing. Like you have the ability to just have fun with it.
yeah, yeah."
Like it doesn't all have to be. You don't all have to. Not every single thing that they put out is going to be the most serious piece of content ever.
Well, her comics isn't like that, and that's
Oh
what.
God, no.
That's why I would hate watching these people like, oh, it should be more like like look at Breaking Bad. Like, how are you comparing like a comic series to like an actual drama TV show? It's completely different.
I expect this to be far more
So,
consistent, says a guy about a show that's starring a character in spandex. Slow down. Like I heard people I think the one that made me the chuckle the most was people talking about um how how unrealistic Moon Knight was, and I'm like,
okay.
it's the show about a guy who's been cursed by an Egyptian god and he has multiple personality disorder. Like you're going, uh, you were expecting like Grey's Anatomy. What were you trying to get at? Like,
But that's the thing. Like, okay, so a man being cryogenically frozen and hasn't aged, come back to that, but that's normal. That's
yeah.
okay.
Oh, completely,
Yeah,
completely.
completely.
We were on board. We were on board. We were on board for the capsicle.
Yeah.
But
So
but 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 when Oscar Isaac is portraying a guy with three different personalities and is trying to do a Cockney accent, that's when we've gone too far. Like,
yeah,
slow down, guys.
yeah.
Slow down.
But like, and then I did the Ahsoka. There's so many trolls. I did the Ahsoka, and I was on the New York Comic Con's TikTok. You know, when they
I saw that. I'm like, that's my girl. Anyway,
the troll comments were like "Fat Soka" or "Ahsoka from Wish," and I'm like, and I look at their content, and of course, most of them don't have content, or they're just uploaded videos that are not theirs, or
just bless their hearts
they're
on
under,
that stuff.
they're like little kids under 17. I'm like, you're jealous because you don't have the balls to do that. You know, like let's see you go and make your own cosplay and do that stuff. Come on.
Well, it's the funniest thing because I forgot where the video I got dinged in a video where a guy's like standing in front of the camera and basically um he's holding some of his favorite props from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers show. And he's like, I am 35.
Mm-hmm.
I own these. I own these proudly. I do videos with them, and I liked it, and I bookmarked it. And I'm like, and you know what, man? I sent him a message, and I'm like, you are not alone.
Yeah.
I am in my 40s. I am doing cosplay videos on the weekly. If a version of Mjolnir does not pop up in a video on a weekly basis, people start worrying. So it's like you just, I mean, have fun with it as opposed to, well, I did a video a couple weeks ago about it. Was like everybody did, everything is cringy. You just have to enjoy yourself because honestly, everybody's going to be able to look at stuff and be like, "Oh man, that's embarrassing." No, it's not. People are having fun. People are trying to have fun with it.
Yeah.
The wish.com comment.
Yeah. There was a lot of those comments. Like it hurt me a little bit, but then I thought about it, and I went, and what I thought about it was when I was at Comic-Con, I had so many people asking to take pictures with me, and I had like four different media things that were like interviewing me. And
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? They liked my costume enough to interview me out of thousands of people. So
Yeah.
obviously it wasn't that bad of a freaking cosplay. So go fuck
You
yourself.
your cosplays have kicked ass. Like your Ahsoka, that was the first thing that I ever found of yours. And that was when I was like, oh, I am totally following her. Ahsoka cosplay down. We're going to be friends. This is happening. Anyway. But like yeah, I mean just I literally have,
Exactly.
so long as you're having fun with it. That's another thing about it too. Like, and I'm sure this will become a, a conversation that drags on for a little bit and bleeds over into a couple of different episodes. But I think the thing about your cosplay, I think the thing that made me gravitate towards you, I think the thing that probably made the press gravitate towards you too is the sincerity and the love. And you just exude it. You just give off such positive energy when you're rocking the Ahsoka cosplay. And it's just like, oh no, she completely encapsulates who the character is. Like
Yeah.
every single time you're in it,
It was just
you
it
sell
was
it.
a cool experience because like a lot of the little kids, they were like, "Can
Yeah.
I take a photo with you?" Of course, to me that melts my heart.
Yeah.
And having adults saying it like, "Oh my god, it's Ahsoka," because everybody was a Darth Vader, everybody was a Mando, everybody was a Boba Fett, everybody was like Leia, but it takes a lot of work to put all that makeup and then the white markings to be Ahsoka. So
Oh my
I
god.
I
What?
woke up at 5 in the morning. I made my boyfriend, my boyfriend. I didn't make my boyfriend, but he was like, he came all the way from Canada. He came all the way from Canada just to come with me for Comic Con, so he could be the person to film everything for me.
So what's the timetable on the Ahsoka the new Ahsoka cosplay? What's the timetable for prep? And is it faster than the old one was, or are they
Well, no, because the new one, I just created a headpiece made out of foam fabric, and Mod Podge and acrylic paint
nice?
cloth. The other one, it didn't fit my head because I have a lot of hair up
Yeah.
when it's curly. But I had to blow dry it the night before, and then I had to put it up in a bun so that it was thin enough to fit the new cast. But the painting, because I have to make my eyebrows disappear so I can put the white on. It took me about like 2 hours, and then I had to put the paint on my arms, on my hands.
Yeah.
But getting ready wasn't that long. It was just a makeup prep.
Gotcha. See, it's at times like these where we have to find Rosario's team and hijack them for you so that they can just get it done for you.
Well, they had an actual, they did a face mask. So they basically airbrushed her orange on her face, right?
Yeah.
I don't have a powerful machine that these makeup designers have, obviously. So
I know.
they have an actual clear face mask they would put on her face, and they would airbrush the white markings. So I tried that
Really?
myself, but
Uh-huh.
the thick, and it was running because it's a shitty airbrush thing. But
Yeah.
you know what? It's just faster if I just do this with a stencil. And I was like,
But I don't know if you watched they had a special they had a documentary special that came out for Forced Friday this year
okay.
about Star Wars and like the endearing quality of Star Wars and the way that it's kind of created a culture around it. But one of the things that they like a lot of the costume designers, a lot of the makeup artists, a lot of the prop creators now are talking about were either A, that they are constantly inspired by the fans who find ways of doing it quicker,
Mm-hmm.
or B, that they themselves started out as cosplayers and were like, I'm gonna do this when I grow up, i.e., 5 years from now, because I'm already working as a dental hygienist or something. So like, it's really quite interesting how cosplay has pushed like actual Hollywood in a direction of finding ways of doing things. And meanwhile, like Hollywood doing it has made cosplay a little bit easier. So it's weird how we're like feeding each other when it comes down to it. I find that really cool.
Kit Kat. This is it was a give or take with the. I tried to airbrush the paint on my, because when you airbrush it looks very blotchy, so I didn't like that. So I airbrushed my arms. Took forever to take it off. So I was like, when I do She-Hulk, I'm just using the water base, and I brought the actual paint and the sponge with me so I can reapply.
Yeah.
It was too much to do. Because I did that. I did a test run last week with the airbrush. I mean, the week before or whatever, and it was way. I had to use like, I tried using soap. I tried using oil, baby oil. I was like, no, I'm just gonna use the water. If I sweat, I'll just reapply. Not a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my next venture is going to be to make the same headpiece, but in latex form, because it was,
Yeah.
I couldn't really move my neck too much, and I had such a stiff neck, like from just like, from barely moving my neck, and like I have to take the mask off, the headpiece off a couple of times because it was way too annoying not to be able to move my neck. My neck was killing me the next day.
I was going to say, welcome to the curse of the Batman cowl, where you can't look left or right, so you have to turn your whole body to
Yeah,
do it, because if you do, you end up knocking yourself unconscious.
but it was fun because I never did my own, like, I never worked with foam. I never did anything. So one of the girls, she's a cosplayer, but she makes her own stuff. So I had first come across her thing on YouTube,
Uh-huh.
and then I realized that she was a verified TikToker on TikTok. She's got amazing. Oh my god, her cosplay and her makeup looks
Uh-huh.
exactly like her. She does like Edward Scissorhands. She does like the most elaborate cosplay, and she does it all by herself. So I watched her tutorial, do her armor and her headpiece. Like, she was like such. It was so easy to follow.
Yeah.
There at TikTok, and I took a picture with her because she's like, "Oh my god, you look great!" I'm like, because she knew I was. I would tag her on my stuff, and so it was pretty. It was pretty cool. I didn't realize that she was going to be there this year, so it was pretty much of a good like, look what you helped me build kind of a thing. So
Very
yeah,
cool.
but yeah. So now I got to pack. I
Okay.
no patience. We're going to Mexico.
she's like, she's like, I can now say that Nick st- I was using Nick as an excuse not to pack, and now I guess I'll go back to it.
I don't want to. Well, actually, I have the rest of the day to do it, to be honest. But I they've changed the rules now in the airports, like where you have to, before, you can put any amount of liquids in your carry on as long as it's 3.5 fluid ounces.
Yeah.
But now you can only bring like a quart size bag of 3.5 ounce stuff in it. That's it. So I just filled my bag of like 7 Tito bottles. Many nips.
I was about to ask what alcohol we're taking with us, but thank you for answering before I said anything.
So I'm gonna bring that little baggie and a little tumbler, probably my Mando one, and just have some fun for 4 hours before I get there. So
there you go. So where are you headed?
I'm going to Hotel Xcaret Art. It's like a new hotel in Riviera Maya.
Cool.
Adults only. So I'm going there for for 8 days. So it'll be fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Going there with the boo. Hopefully.
Yes, give him my best, by the way. That man cracks me up on the regular.
Dude, he took such great. I didn't realize that he did so many video. Like he has such an eye for things. Like when he films, like because he's the one who filmed me. Getting interviewed. He filmed me getting pictures with people, and he was all about himself. I mean, about me. He's like, I'll carry the school bag. I was like, I felt bad, like because I for years the people that I've dated, they were never into that stuff.
Yeah.
Like playing and nerd stuff in general. But he's just like he was just in awe of like getting the attention, and I'm like,
See,
not
this
fair.
is learn something, ladies. Find yourself a nerd who will follow you around with the gym bag full of the touch-up paint.
But we got the picture. He got a picture with Chris. What's her name? Cassandra Peterson, aka Elvira.
Cool.
With Ben Barnes. I got a picture with Brendan Fraser and the lady who plays Rita.
Yeah.
And the picture with Christopher Lloyd and Michael J. Fox. I'm very happy. Yeah.
That
Michael,
one in and of itself, I mean, that's legacy right there. I mean, the two of them in one photo, that then, oh.
I heard that that was the first time they reunited in like, what would they say, like 30 years or something? Since
Yeah.
last Back to the Future.
Yeah. Absolutely, because Christopher Lloyd had health issues, and we all know what Michael J. Fox has been dealing with
Yeah.
for the longest time. But like Christopher Lloyd was having issues. He was filming. He actually brought it up a couple of times in the press junket for Nobody, because he was in Nobody. But he brought it up a couple of times where he was having a lot of issues with cancer scares and so on and so forth, and like the fact that he was like, I want to be back out there. And he did a production of King Lear in the summer in New York. No, was it New York or Connecticut? I don't remember which.
He's playing a character. I don't know how elaborate this character is going to be, but I heard he was casted for the new season Mandalorian.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I want to see what we're gonna do. If they, I'm sorry, If they have I need. Here's what I need. Okay, here's what I need. I need a flashback to Mandalore, like the Mandalore. I need a flashback to Mandalore the Great, and if he's voiced by Christopher Lloyd, I'm done. That's all I need.
Oh no, we
Like,
just had news text from my news station. The actor that played Hagrid in Harry Potter passed away today.
no way. Oh, he was such a sweetheart. Wait. Yep. Robbie Coltrane passed away at the age of 72. Oh my God, that was such a his Hagrid was such a oh oh that's sad.
Did they say how he passed or?
Um, he died in he died in a hospital in Falkirk, Scotland. For personally, I remember him. She'll always be. Yeah, he's survived by his sister Annie Ray, his children Spencer and Alice, and their mother Rona.
It's sad.
Yeah, no, they didn't. They don't give details, but still, and of course, Stephen Fry came out and has already recorded a video tribute to him. I mean, because the two of them were best friends forever.
Oh, that's sad.
So, It's tough.
Yeah, we're just losing celebrities left and right, is
I'm
right.
gonna say,
That's why, like the year before I had the photo op with Mark Hamill, I wanted to get a photo op with of course Princess Leia, but she wound up dying right after the con, and I was so upset. So the following year, when I heard that Mark Hamill was gonna, I was like, you know what? You don't know from the one day to the next. I'm going to take this opportunity and get like if one year I missed last year's Shatner, like I should have.
yeah. And he's, oh my goodness, Shatner's got to be in his mid 80s now.
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
but it was a cool experience. Of course, they wouldn't let you take a photo next to Michael because his movement, his involuntary movement. They were
yeah.
afraid, whatever. So we're all standing next to Lloyd instead. But still, it was definitely an incredible moment. But
That's very cool.
Ben Barnes was actually really sweet.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's good.
Uh, and then when I took the photo op with Brendan Fraser and the chick that played Rita, they were playing music because usually when you do photo op, they don't have music playing in the background.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol team kind of thing. So they had like this crazy song playing, and I walk up doing a dance for him. Brendan Fraser's like, he's like, "You got some moves, girl."
Nice. He's such a sweet. I have never heard a bad story about Brendan Fraser ever. The interactions, the everybody who's interacted with him has got this sweet story of him just being like the ray of sunshine that everybody needs. And I love the fact that he's like all of the reviews of the movies that he's got coming out, the new series he's got coming out. I forgot what the name of it is, but like everything I hear about the work he's, I just love the fact that he's getting this really solid resurgence. I was just
He's gone through so much
yeah.
life, with being essayed and the divorce and Hollywood pretty much like turning its back on him and stuff like that. It was great to see him in Doom Patrol. I
Yeah.
mean, granted, we only seen his actual face in a few of the episodes, but hearing him first as much as he does in the episodes,
Yeah, I mean, he's
like,
it's
oh,
so great. Like he's just, you can tell he's having so much fun with it. Like it he exudes that like manic energy. It's so great.
yeah, yeah. When I heard he was going to be there, I was either going to get an autograph or a picture with him. But I figured I was like, you know what, I'd rather have the photo with him because then that I have that with me.
Yeah.
But
That
we also got a signing from Ralph Macchio. He was,
whoa.
yeah, karate.
Man, see, this is, you're just, listen, I get it. Okay, I get it. I understand. I'm sorry I wasn't there this year. I will be there next year. Okay, she's just like, let me just name drop until Nick realizes how foolish he was for going to a wedding instead of going to New York Comic Con.
You should have been to the con the other days.
Yeah, it was no, it was the entire my entire weekend, completely swallowed.
What day was the wedding?
It's the whole thing started on Friday and lasted until Monday.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and on top of it, the guests who were trying to leave on Sunday could not go anywhere because the entire city was surrounded by a 10K that was going on.
Yeah.
So like there was one road in and out of the city.
Wow, that
And
sucks.
it was an absolute mess. So I was just like, oh, okay, this is fine. I'm just gonna make sure that I'm holed up in the hotel and I'm not doing anything and the kids are fine and we got food. Whatever, man. So yeah, would I have rather been at New York Comic Con with awesome Ahsoka? Yeah, yeah, I would have.
Yeah.
So
I
getting
wanted
pictures with Christopher Lloyd, Michael J. Fox.
I definitely would have loved to. I kind of want to do other cons. Like, of course, everyone's dream would be the one in San Diego, but I tried to get tickets for Star Wars Day, I guess. Whatever every year they have the Star Wars Celebration
Star Wars
next
Celebration, yeah.
in London next year, and tried to score tickets and couldn't. And But next year, I hope it's the year after. I hope it'd be nice to have it in New York because then it would be like right here.
It would be nice. You know what we're just gonna have to do? We're just gonna have to start shamelessly promoting one another until they just comp us tickets at some point.
Yeah, I'll put in what do they call it? The uh I guess what do you call it? The ticket. It's not like a regular ticket. It'd be like the
Yeah, it's a oh, I hate it, but it's a media influencer
yeah.
ticket pass.
But don't you have to
Yeah.
have a certain amount of followers for that, or does it matter?
I honestly don't know what the exact parameters are. I know that I had talked to because there was some interest about Dragon Con
Mm-hmm.
earlier in the year,
Mm-hmm.
and I was floating the possibility of going to that, and the convention in Boston, but I couldn't get down to that either. Like it was not a good year for me trying to get to conventions. But next year, I will tell you what, I'm going to decimate the circuit on the East Coast. I'm determined because, like you said, you don't know what's going to happen one day or the next. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I want to see New York Comic Con for the entire weekend. I want to see Dragon Con for the entire weekend. I want to see what these are like
Well,
and
because
actually be able to hang out with everybody.
New York City, it's like the it's so massive. Like you can't fathom. You can't possibly see everything there is in one day. Like that's and you can't be on your feet all day either. So it's good
Yeah.
to half days. Like okay, one day we'll hit the show floor. The next day will be artist alley, and then one day will be just panels and photo ops. So it's like that's how I plan it because it's a lot of standing and waiting and walking and standing and waiting and walking. Like you can't. It's just too much work to do all in one day.
I hear you. I hear you. I mean, yeah. I mean, the city in and of itself is a great reflection of what the conventions are like, because it is. If you try to get it done in one day, you're going to be running the entire time and manic, you know.
And especially if you're in cosplay, you'll be sweating.
Oh, yes, and obviously don't want. I record. I have to ask you a question. So when you do your cosplay TikToks, do
Mhm.
you film all of them in one day and just like disperse them?
I just sometimes it depends on how many I have.
Yeah.
Like lately, like all my cosplay videos get no views. None of my videos are getting views. It's very discouraging because it's like I literally spent 2 hours blow drying my hair so it fits in the thing. Then you spend another hour and a half, 2 hours putting the makeup on and then putting the clothes on. You film what 30 seconds of a video and like yeah, it's discouraging. So it's like I rather do these quick comedy skits that I do, which gets better. The videos that get better view are my like stitches or like my whatever. I'll do some kind of stitch,
Yeah.
but cosplay stuff no. It's like, but I have full followers are nerds like me.
Can I tell you something? I'm gonna DM you a trick that I've been told about the cosplaying videos,
Mm-hmm.
because if I mention a certain site on here, the live might get shut down.
Okay,
But we'll talk. We'll talk. We'll
we'll
talk.
talk. We'll talk
We'll
about it.
talk. We'll
You
have a coffee and we'll have a chin
who
wag
wants
about it.
coffee? You want coffee? I'm making coffee.
As anybody who's on my Patreon will tell you, every single time I'm like, "Hello and welcome to Monday Morning Coffee Talk." Do you have a coffee? Because we need coffee.
All right, yeah. Let me know. DM me. I'm gonna go get some more. Actually, speaking of which, I'm gonna get some more coffee.
Go get yourself
Coffee.
some more coffee, sweetheart. It'll be fine.
All right, I'll talk to you guys later. DM me. Thank you,
Yep.
everyone.
My
Bye.
best to your, my best to your boy toy.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Dragon Con campus is huge. I believe, and this is the thing. Like, I have a friend. I need to send your videos. Okay, have fun. Feel free. Hotels are partying 24/7 the whole weekend. You're gonna see a lot of my videos popping over to another site that does shorts very very soon too. I've started doing a lot more content for other platforms as well, so you'll start seeing me in different spots. As our Hazard ATL has pointed out this week, it's weird to see you pop up on the YouTube feed on my TV. I'm like, don't say that because that feels weird for me too. Hi, friend. Who's this? Hi, Nick Smith 79. So yeah, so that's funny. Yeah, so diversifying. You soon enough you'll be able to find me on all of the platforms and the who's it's and what's it's. It'll be good, including my nerd content, which is just it gets strangely placed. But to be fair, guess what's going out tomorrow? What's going out tomorrow, Stay Delicious? What's going out tomorrow? Stacy, don't tease. It just was new! Exclamation point. No, I understand. I understand completely. It feels weird for me too because my channel. Okay, so I'm on top of everything else. Oh, Stacy, now I'm intrigued. So you think, ooh, okay. So I have to. It'll be for my unboxing next week. It'll be fantastic. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that. Hopefully, listen. Most of my voices are soothing to an extent, except for this one when I do the actually Dr. Forge Bear voice. This is not soothing. Anyway, um, but anyways, I'm not. I have all of my. I have Apple everything everywhere, right, including an Apple TV, which is hooked up to the TV in the living room, and my YouTube account um is the same on all devices, right? Because the information on the phone is on the laptop is on the Apple TV. So if I ever go to YouTube now, like, and one of the first things that pops up is my face, and I'm like, oh, look at that dork. Oh wait, that's me. um. So yeah, so this is for anybody who's stuck around, for everybody who's enjoying their time. Thank you for being here. This is basically going to be the format on Fridays. We're just going to have fun. We're going to have guests pop up and down, and we're going to have a lot of fun talking about people. Thank you everybody for the subscriptions that have popped up over the course of filming. Like I said, you're going to start seeing more subscription exclusives coming to the channel in the next couple of weeks, including subscription exclusive live events like a cooking show and a couple of other things. So it'll be good. I'm gonna have a lot of fun with that. I'm sure you guys will too. But yes, this has become the nerd spot. Fan-Tastic Fridays is where we talk about anything and everything: video games, movies, TV shows, comic books, novels that are coming out or that have come out lately, and we want to talk to them. A lot of things that have been very. Also, as you've noticed, I have no problem talking about behind the scenes details because I find that stuff interesting as well. Nerd universe. Correct. It is in fact a nerd universe. Listen, it is a nerd universe, and everybody else is just living in it, right? Oh, what was that quote? What was that quote by um forgot his name. Anyways, there was a quote that talks about how cool it is to be a nerd. I'll find it and I'll post it at some point. But this is exactly where it is. TV shows. I'm currently addicted to VA. Just hitting all my buttons. Well, I'm glad, Stormy. We want to make sure that we're like supported in the things that we find interesting, right? Right? Right. We want to make sure that we all know that we're lovingly being as nerdy as possible. So, would love to get behind your Nancy. My goodness. Gonna make me blush on camera. Yeah. Oh, Ashes. Both House of Dragon and Rings of Power. Like, House Dragon this week had me going, oh, damn, he just did that. Rings of Power this week had me, oh my god, I didn't see that coming. So, well, thank you, Kat. Like I said, next week more guests. I'd like to have. We're gonna do random pop-ins though. Just like we're just gonna see who pops up and when, and it's gonna be cool. And the fact that Michelle was able to spend time with us today was totally awesome because we don't like Werewolf Wednesday. She's got stuff going on, so she can't talk to me then. And we're looking forward to having Blade the Sholo back to discuss her book. Um, so we're going to see when that happens in the near future. That's going to be a grand old time. And other things, because like last time, me and Blade talked about werewolves and let's see here. What did we talk about? Rollerblade. We talked about roller derby. We talked about like nerd crushes. We talked about everything. We had a ton of fun. So we're going to be doing that again soon. Yeah, Nancy, right? Rings of Power this week. Shocked. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well read. I mean, sometimes yeah. House of the Dragon, you cried. Yeah, House of the Dragon. There have been some scenes. I think it's far enough down the road when Damon's wife died during childbirth. Oh, that hurt. That hurt my heart. I was like, mm, it you know. It's so difficult because you don't want there's a certain part of me that still carries. Oh, yes, you do, Michelle, need to watch Werewolf by Night. Oh, yes, you do. That was, oh, oh. It was perfect old Universal monster movie. It was fantastic. Yeah, the Stargate series were good. The Stargate series were a lot of fun. Damon's reaction made his character have more depth. That's true. I like Matt Smith in that part has been doing a lot of good work. It's my cue to watch after Lord of the Rings tonight. Yeah. Yep. Gonna have to skip that one. Yeah, I hear you. I mean, like it's gonna be a mixed bag. I still there's a certain level of like I'm I feel like a spurned lover when it comes to that show. I'm like, you better not break my heart. Season 8 of Game of Thrones. You better not break my heart again. So I mean, yeah, Michael Shanks did a very good job of making nerds with glasses hot to a lot of people. He did. He did the Lord's work with that part. Oh, you've been learning High Valerian. That's something, man. That is a tough like in here like they've got so many exactly, right? Game of Thrones season 8 kind of like put the walls up. And I approach House of the Dragon very tenuously. You say that, but I mean like anyway. Oh my good gravy. Shockingly had hard to learn once you understand it. But remember that you get that a lot. You get a lot of that establishment, like learning languages like High Valerian and any of the dialects from Lord of the Rings is easy because they're founded in the commonality of English as a base, right? So him and Richard interacting as Daniel and Jack just makes me happy. Every single time I think about Daniel and Jack interacting, I think my favorite interaction is when Daniel comes back having ascended and he appears to Jack in the elevator. That scene made me laugh for a good 20 minutes. And every single time it pops back up, like every so often it'll pop back. I know. And that was why it was good, Red, was the fact that they acted like an old married couple. I loved that about them. But that one scene killed me. That one scene had me floored. I was laughing so hard. So how you doing, Jack? Well, it's the funniest thing. My friend went away for a while. Oh, sure. Oh, sure. Show off, Cat. Cat's like, I'm going to break at the High Valyrian. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, no, I love when male characters can get comfortable enough with one another that they can have kind of that like quibbling, hi shorty, have that quibbling like back and forth. The rapport, good rapport between two actors is priceless, especially when it comes like when you're in a world where you're dealing with aliens and having them be human, having them be able to communicate. Like you can write a scene in old English, but if the characters communicate well, you have absolutely no problem understanding them and being able to relate to them. Like you've seen bad dialogue where it's written and you're just like, "Oh my god, I know they're talking to one another, but it's so very flat and cardboard that I can't stand it." So, it's a toss up. It's just all a matter of the writing. It's really a matter of the writing. I think the thing that I worry about the most when I'm writing is dialogue. Well, that also helps too. Like when you have a cast of of actors who have gotten to know one another and really have that familial bond, you can tell it 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 shines through. Sometimes you and it especially helps in universes where you're dealing with stuff that is fantastical and outside the realms of the norm, like the rapport that you get sometimes works. But my best example is What We Do in the Shadows. The movie was good. The movie was good. The fact that they've been able to expand the story on the television show is amazing. But what you learn about another behind the scenes look when it comes to this stuff, What We Do in the Shadows, the FX series, has a really nasty habit of turning on the camera, letting it roll, and not stopping them. So a 6 minute scene, the young gentleman who plays Guillermo has said that a 6 minute scene will be edited down from a 28-minute ad lib that they all just got in on. And it shows because their rapport is just so spot on. Harvey, thank you, Stormy. Their rapport is just so spot on, and the way that they flow and the way that they work off of one another, it has very much an ease to it. And you're like, yes, they are vampires, but also but that kind of like that takes back seat to them just being individuals with different motivations and different like styles of communicating, but they're able to like do it so flawlessly that it just creates magic on screen. I literally talked about behind the scenes stuff with him for hours. Oh, with Harvey? You talk with him about behind the scenes stuff? That's cool. That is very neat. Came to Richmond in March. I gave him a tribble. That's cute. He's got such great energy about him. He's such a positive human being, and he's got he just I love him. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's just so amazing because that chemistry like shows. No problem, Kat. We'll see you again next time. Actually, you know what? It's 2 o'clock. I know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe we'll see about making it 3 hours next time. We'll see if can do that. But unfortunately, I do have to wrap it up because we're gonna have to. I've got stuff I got to do. I have things I gotta sew up. I have writing that I still have to do. Actually, if anybody who's a member of the Patreon, poke an eye out because I poke an eye out. That sounds bad. Keep an eye out for a video telling you about next week when it comes to the Patreon page, because we got a lot of stuff coming up. So that's gonna be good. Thanks for the rose, Ursula. So yeah. So thanks for stopping in. This has been the first episode of Fan-Tastic Fridays. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mishabu79 again. If you do not check out her stuff, she has awesome Ahsoka cosplay, likes to do some Sith cosplay. I like to duet with her on occasion. It's a grand old time. But until next time, until next Friday, we will see you around. Same bat time, same bat channel. Okay. Have fun storming the castle, y'all.